So now I'm in Calipat. Like I said, it's a different beast, man. Crazy. Something I'm not used to. You know, the building I landed into. There's no camaraderie. You know, and it was all bad. I didn't like it personally. I just had a bad feeling about it, and I was right. It was all bad. You know, mostly because of my own decision. I can't blame my shit on nobody else, but you know, sometimes things are right, sometimes things are wrong. On my side and other people's side also. Modelo time. Salud. So I moved in with this youngster. He was from Sereno, East Los. I didn't like him at all. Had a bad feeling, man. So as a youngster, you know, I had issues. Explain this real quick. As a youngster, I had issues with people looking at me because I had this big old scar on my face from an accident I had when I was a kid. So, but I always thought people had a problem with me, so I couldn't really read facial expressions. So I thought everybody had a problem with me. So as time progressed and as I grew older, I had to learn to read other things, not just facial expressions. You know, catch a general vibe for people. Because of that, because of my not being able to understand what they were expressing with their face, which is how most people get around in life. And as a kid, I couldn't do that. I thought everybody had a problem with me. Now, see you looked at me just once, or you know, it could have been a mad dog, not a mad dog. We had a problem, you know. So as I grew older, I started learning a different way to understand what was going on with the other people around me. So I learned to survive off of people's vibes or read people's vibes. So later on, I'm in this cell with this dude. Had a bad vibe the whole time, and this dude ends up buying a phone. I shit you not, like the next day he had the phone. Police were at the door. This fool crying with a fucking phone. I don't think he ever let me use the phone. Or because he used to get a phone borrowed from other people. They used to let him borrow that phone. I think one time he asked me. Well, I believe one time, I'm not even sure. But this fool was just stingy and just bad style. I almost beat him up on the yard, but he's younger, so younger than me. I was like, man. And everybody was telling me to let it go. Just like, anyways, I'm pretty sure he snitching on me. And I'm like 99.9% sure. Anyways, fool buys a phone. Like a day later, he finally gets that phone he's been borrowing and renting out. He buys it. This motherfucker don't even have money. I think it was the next day or that same night, right when we lay down to sleep, they act like they lock the doors because every day, like around 9 after count, they lock the doors. There's boxes and they put a lever down so the doors can't open at night, so we can't open them. Well, they pretended to lock it. We laid down. He got comfortable. He got on his phone. I was asleep, dead asleep. I don't know nothing about this phone. Like, you know, that has nothing to do with me. I don't touch the phone. You ain't gonna find my fingerprints on the phone. I get up and no, I hear the fucking officers knocking at the door like, hey, get up. We know you got that in there. Just give it up. This motherfucker freezes, doesn't know what to do. I'm like, bro, what the fuck, bro? You can't just give up the fucking phone. So I fucking snatch the phone, throw it on the floor. All the officers see it. They know what's going on. Um, I mean, what are you gonna do? Just hand it over to him? Like, come on, man, fucking up the G code. So I was like, man, I never even touched the phone. Uh, I think I told him to smash it. Matter of fact, I don't remember, but it wasn't my phone. It had nothing to do with it. Uh, they knew I had nothing to do with it. The dude that passed it to him ended up, you know, being an informant. Um, and but I was blinded because of drugs. Drugs, man. Dude started fishing me in with drugs here and there. You know, getting me back on the fucking addiction train, and asked me to, to help him out making decisions regarding, officers and stuff. Really, when it began was when I believe it was on my birthday again, 2012, I believe. Um, one of the black guys on the yard. He was drunk. I believe he had mental issues. I'm not sure, but that fool started flipping out on one of the homies, and they all got off. I was in the cell when it happened. They all got off. I was getting high, getting drunk, but in the cell. And they all got off. Like, it was bad, man. People were jumping over shit, sliding into shit. It was bad. It was pretty bad. Um, they had videos of it. Like, people were showing off the videos. It was bad. So first chance we get, I guess this dude that was an informant was called upon to speak to the blacks. So he pulls me out to, let's go talk to them, because I have a history of, making peace, keeping peace, and bringing communication. It's about communication, and so we go out there and make the peace with them, and we agree to our faults and we move on, and now we can program again, and everybody can get along. And fucking on that yard, it was about getting high. Let's be honest. Get high and do what you do, and that's it. And fucking so I get on the go out there. We fix that. Now move to another building, and ask to look out to help out. Just keep the communication between ourselves, and if we have an interaction with officers, that's what I'm there for, to speak. And I do my part. Like everybody knows I have a say so, but not because I know anybody or because I'm related to anybody or have any association with anybody, but because I know how to use my mind without thinking about violence as a first choice. Because usually, let's be honest, the South Side moves by blunt force. Most of the time we're like, hey, fuck it, let's do it and just ride it out and hit them hard and don't stop, until we get our way. But I mean, that works, but it's to a certain degree, and then we end up with people getting charges and people with life. And even though I first got busted, I thought I would never get home. Deep inside, I wanted to go home. So, and then the same way, I see a young guy come in. I don't want that dude to come in with 2 years and not ever go home to life. You know how many times I heard that story? I heard it a lot of times, and seen it with my own eyes. I seen dudes racking up 10 years at a time, multiple times. And so, because people are taking advantage of them and the system that we're placed in on both sides, in the law part and then on Kamala's part. You got people out there that they don't give a fuck about you. And so it was in my best interest, like I said, to speak up, to try to keep myself safe, and doing so, keeping those, hoping to keep those around me safe, or at least get them home, back to their families and shit. And so it was known, everybody knew that, I had the ability to communicate, and that I was asked a lot of times to communicate on behalf of our faction, which was the Southside faction. Everybody knew it. Cops, uh, COs, I mean, not cops, COs. And when I get to a yard and people find out I'm there, because, names get sent up to different places. And although I didn't speak to these people directly, you know, because of my ability to communicate and fight the protests against the system, people knew who I was. And so I reiterate that at no time did I have any communication with anybody that was associated or no, that was a main member or anything like that. So, but the officers didn't believe that. They were on a fucking witch hunt to get me. Um, Mainly just because I disrupted their program, which was to do what the fuck they wanted to do, when they didn't realize that I was there to do what I knew I could do, you know. And but my downfall was drugs, and so I became addicted to drugs. And when they called upon me to ask me to do certain to help them out, they fished me in with drugs. I had made the decision that I was gonna try to start working on myself, because at this whole time I never fucking got a GED. I never fucking did anything vocational skill. Why? Because I was worried about taking care of others instead of worried about taking care of myself. And and low key, it was a way of relieving my stress, because I didn't really have nobody to talk to. Like, my family wasn't there that much, hardly. I don't know what they were going through, but so I took to these people, the South Side. They were the only family I had. These are the people that I spent years with, went through life and death situations with. So they became my family, and I looked at them like my brothers, like they would be my little brothers, my family members that I felt that it was my responsibility to look out for them, and look out for their best interest, and to treat them the way I would have wanted somebody to treat, like, say my little brother would have went to prison, the same way I would have wanted somebody to treat them. So, uh, so that was my connection. That was what kept me. That's what kept me in the system, in our system, the Southside system. And so I got lost in drugs, just getting high every fucking day. I think I OD'd like once or twice on fucking drugs. And it got to be too much. Like, uh, my fucking, my addiction and the stuff they were doing on that yard. I just was like lost in a veil of fucking what was reality and what wasn't reality. And I just felt like there was too much going on in that yard that, I didn't like. And, I would walk that yard, and, I have officers, telling me certain things, or labeling me things that I wasn't. And, or maybe things that I was, but not in any official capacity, just just I was a spokesman. That's what I was. That's a good way to put it. I was a good spokesman, and I was a union rep leader. That's the way to put it. That my ability to get the people together was contradictory to the beliefs of the California, whatever the COs, their union. You know what I mean? They didn't like that. So yeah, eventually I got lost in drugs, and I made a sexual pass at one of my cellies, and um, you gotta understand, at this time we had people coming off another yard, another yard, yeah, another oh, I'm skipping ahead, hold on. No, so now we're going to the hunger strike, the famous hunger strike. Okay, so now I'm deep into drugs though. Now we're going into the famous hunger strike that was coming down from the Bay, where we're trying to get everybody released from their indeterminate terms. And so, our yard, our prison, Calapat prison, I guess the other yards, they did a half-assed attempt at a hunger strike, and they just got it over and brushed it away. And so it didn't sit right with a lot of people, and so people started asking me what I wanted to do or what was my opinion on what was the correct way to go about things and how should we move forward. So I told them that my opinion was that what they did wasn't good enough, and that we should have all did it together as one, and not one as a faction, but as one as everybody, the blacks, the whites. I don't know if the others participated, but I think it was voluntary for them. But so we all got together and communicated as a whole, and not only on one yard, but we made it known, or it was known. I wouldn't make it known, but it was made known that um, that we were gonna do this and we were gonna do it together. And every separate faction, I guess they put it out to their own people that if you didn't participate, you were gonna get fucked up. And at first I thought those were empty words, but I seen other races fucking up their people. Like, you didn't participate, bam, you're getting fucked up. So at no time did I communicate with anybody except for the people that asked me for my advice, and I gave them my advice. But the problem is, people got phones, people, and let's be honest, it doesn't take much to tap a motherfucking phone. And I'm pretty sure my name was put out there, and I'm pretty sure that the people didn't like the fact that we were gonna do this. They're putting my name out there, and the officers already know that that's what I do. I bring everybody together, and we're gonna strike, or we're gonna fight for our rights as our humanitarian rights and everything that affects us as a whole, and not just as a group. And so that put a bigger target on my back, and so I had an officer try to pull me to a side, female officer, and she tried to get me, like reel me in. But I wasn't having that shit. I was like, I fell for that trap. She called me over, like, come here, let me talk to you real quick. She was a female with a big booty, and I was like, shit, let me get over there and see if I can get some or something. I went over to talk to her. Once I heard the direction she was going into, I was like, nah, I'm good, going, whoop. Well, this chick starts dropping people's paperwork. And it gets to my ears that she's dropping paperwork on people, throwing people's paperwork on the tier so people can read it. Pretty much, like, if you ain't, I took it as if you're not following into what they want you to do, they're gonna try to cross you up. And so then we move forward to people coming off another yard, a different prison. New people coming in, fighting to be popularity contest. Everybody wants to be the man. Everybody wants to be famous. They want to have money. They want to have drugs. They want to have the ability to say that they know somebody or they work for somebody. They're on a different chase, than I was on a different level than I was on. At that specific time, all I wanted was drugs. And I had a drug problem, and I had to support the drug problem, so I got involved into drugs. And I got put in a situation where I didn't like what was going on. And I was slipping and not being myself because of the drugs. When I say not being myself, and I wasn't being careful and watching what was transpiring upon my around me. I was just interested in drugs, and like I said, I OD'd once or twice. I was just doing fucking heroin, meth, fucking back to back. I would do one, do the other, do one, do the other. Fucking wouldn't even clean the spoon, just shooting, getting crazy. And the whole time I didn't know these motherfucking everybody's plotting on me. I was like, I was just getting high. I didn't give a fuck, man. And so I made a sexual pass in my celly. So this fool goes out and he tells them, well, I guess he tells them what happened. And so now I become know, human target. So the first time I realized it, and we were playing soccer, and these fools we were playing soccer really hard. We're playing and playing, and these fools don't want to stop playing. I'm like, man, nobody usually plays out there, man. It's 100 and fucking something degrees in Calipat, bro. You ain't trying to be playing for more than like 20, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, you know. And then you got your few people that could hit a whole yard, but we were playing and playing, and you know, there was just a bad feeling about what was going on, and I felt like there was too many eyes on me. So I fucking stopped playing, and everybody was trying to get me to keep playing. They were trying a little too hard to get me to play. So I was like, man, what the fuck's going on? So I started looking around, and you know, I feel like there was a little too much attention on the center of the fucking on the center stage. So I hit the cut. And when I hit the cut, somebody tells me, hey, bro, you need to be careful. You know, there's something going on, and he tells me other stuff, but you know, just pretty much like, hey, be careful. You know, if I were you, I'd be really careful. And before that, I believe they had tried to get me to play basketball, and they were trying really, really hard to get me to play, but I don't play basketball no more. At that time, I wasn't playing because I was strung out on fucking drugs and shit. And you know, you gotta be in prison. You gotta be careful, man. If you can't go 2 or 3 rounds after playing a game of basketball, yeah, like me, I ain't gonna play basketball, bro. You gotta be ready to go 2 or 3 rounds with at any time, at any place, anywhere, you know. And if I'm playing basketball, it's because I'm in good enough shape to go 2 or 3 rounds afterwards. But I was fucking strung out, fucking. You know, what could I do? So now I'm on a fucking no. Now I'm getting chased down. Now, at first I didn't realize what's going on, man. I didn't really understand like what's going on until one day some dude he starts fumbling in his fucking his pants, you know, trying to pull out a fucking weapon, and he goes, man, oh, you want to be a freak or some shit like that. And that's when it hit me, like, oh shit, this fool told on me. This fool told that I made a pass on him. For fucking at that time I didn't know what to do. I was spooked, like, what the fuck? Like, what do I do? I don't got nowhere to go. The cops don't like me. You know, my family's on this side. You know, the people I fucking grew up on my entire adult life I spent with these people, and now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. What do I do? I didn't know what to do, so I would go out to yard and you know fucking get chased around, people trying to slice my fucking neck, you know, and like, what do you do? Like, you know, the funny thing is, like, when other people, this would turn me on to that the phones were tapped, like people's phones and shit was that every time, you know, people would say like, hey, be careful, somebody's gonna get hit today or something. There was extra officers on the yard. You know, they were close to the yard. They would a lot of times they wouldn't even be in the yard during the day, but when people were gonna get hit, they'll be on the yard. So that, and I seen them in the towers with fucking listening devices, and I would be like, something not right here, you know. And so I started distancing myself from all these people that were, you know, on that paper chase, on that high school fucking popularity contest. I was like, man, I don't want nothing to do with you guys. I'm just getting high, you know. I didn't tell them I was just getting high, but I was just getting high, and I was like, man, I got nothing to do with you guys. And people were getting stabbed left and fucking right, and I didn't give a fuck. I was just getting high, man. And but you know, what tripped me out is that when my number came up and it was time for me to get stabbed, you know, there wasn't no fucking officer in sight, you know, and and it's not that I was asking for the help, but that's what led me to realize that, you know, there was something bigger going on here that I had no idea about because my dumb ass was using drugs. And pretty much I became a double target. I was being targeted by my own family, or the people I believed that were my family, and being targeted by the officers. And so I still didn't know what to do. I had no idea. I was scared. Like, you know, I had never been put in this situation in my life, um, where your whole family just turns against you, and I was ducking fucking hit after hit. People trying to make me dig up fucking pretend knives to try to get the jump on me, because I guess they weren't trying to get me face to face or something, So they had me trying to dig up knives on the ground, and so I could take my eyes off of them. But shit, I wasn't taking my eyes off of them, and so eventually after fucking one, two, three, four, like 4 or 5 tries to get me, um, they concocted another plan where they were gonna start a riot with the white guys, with the white men, and during that time, they were gonna jump on me, and you know, I've been doing a lot of time. I know how riots go down. I know how people move. I know what they look like when they're gonna move, what they look like before they're gonna move. And so this is how I realize this stuff, and that's how I figure out what's going on. So sometimes I'll figure out before their plan is even in full motion, and so I would just try to find a open space in the yard and just I was pretty much on the run. I didn't know what to do. I had nowhere to go. I was scared. I was fucking being fucking pumped with drugs. Like, what the fuck was I to do? Um, and not many people get put in that position in their lives where a lot of people fuck up and they go to the cops, or the cops come and save them, or they go to the cops, but ain't no cop trying to save me. I've been fucking with them since I started my term, so like I had no help nowhere, and I was an enemy target on both sides of the system, on the crook side and the law side, So I was just running around scared, like what the fuck to do. So eventually they fucking they decided to jump on the white boys for a debt, and the white boy they were after, I used to talk to him. I told him like, hey, bro, the fucking word's getting around, bro. Like, hey, shit, handle that shit, bro. I was trying to give him a hand, like, hey, bro, it's not gonna go well. Either pay that shit or you know what you gotta do. Hey, you know how that game is, man. Drugs is people's weakness, and they lose control of themselves and build a fucking debt that they can't handle. And like, it's fucked up. Yeah, I ain't with burning people or robbing people, but I want to see a motherfucker die because he couldn't pay $100 or something, or $200, whatever. And so I seen them fucking setting me up. They were like, yeah, we want you right here, so you could help us right here. I was like, yeah, fuck you. In my mind, I was like, yeah, fuck you, fools. So like, I'll be right there. So as soon as they said I was gonna get off, bam, I jumped on that dude real quick and I fucking took off. I separated myself. I was so quick. The dude was on the ground. I was gone. I was like, yeah, man, I was running. And sure enough, around the area where I was, they found 2 weapons right there. And I know that those 2 weapons were marked for me, had my name on it. So now I go to the hole and I still don't know what to do because I never been put in this situation in my life. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I can't sleep, man. I'm fucking feel one eye open, and when I do fall asleep, I wake up. And one time I find my celly fishing something in the middle of the night, and I wake up and I ask him what you doing, and he sends it back out the door. And I was like, fuck, man. And then it's just like, I was like, man, I can't even sleep. How the fuck, how am I gonna live? So, then for next time we came out of the cell, I just came out and I told the officer like, yeah, man, that's it, I'm done. I'm tapping out and shit, I don't want to go back in the cell with the guy or whatever. And they ended up separating me. I hang up my gloves and shit. I went in there. They tried to question me and shit. To be honest, I was fucking crying like a bitch. Because I was separating myself from the only family I had known for the last like 13 years. So it did break my heart. And yeah, they tried to tell me to snitch or some shit. And I just told them like, hey man, there was some shit on my paperwork. They just found out, and that's why I can't be there no more. Because they needed a reason, I guess, or I don't know if they really needed one or they were pressing me, but I was like in an emotional state, and I just told them that, and they were asking me like weapons and shit, and I just sent them anywhere, like I just wanted to get on. I didn't have a problem with anybody. I didn't wish bad on anybody else. It just my time had came, and I just wanted to move on. I didn't want to move on, but I had to move on. Um, and I thought it would be for the better, to be honest. But little did I know that, fuck, that was just the fucking beginning.